Hi everyone, this is Paige from Traditional Catholic Femininity. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, wherever you are. So this is another Ask Paige series, and this one comes from a TCF reader who follows me on Instagram, and this time she sends me a message from Instagram, and I'm just gonna read it through it very quickly. She goes, "Hello, I just read your article about Pearl. Oh, gosh. The infamous Pearl Davis. And I have some questions. I have a lot of issues with feminine energy because of my family's past. You said feminine energy attracts. But how? How can I attract people? Also, I don't understand how a feminine woman do apostolate if she cannot argue with men or have lengthy conversations with them. You said, I will engage to a point and then disengage. She's referring to what I said about in my post about Pearl Davis. I'll leave a link to that post. I think I posted that on Facebook. Yeah. So she continues, you said, I will engage to a point and then disengage, which is true. I did say that. But I don't see the difference with arguing and having lengthy conversations. A lot of people don't. So I understand where she's coming from. Finally, you said femininity is picky about what it allows into its space. Yes, that's very true. I don't know what to think about it. I have many issues having girlfriends, and for me as a woman, being very picky is not charitable at all. Not true. If you are a kind woman, I don't understand why I will reject you. Thank you in advance for your answers. So I said to her, well, you raised a lot of really good points, and I think I'll just address that in a video post, which is what I'm doing now in this Ask Paige series, episode 8, 9, something, one of them. I'm beginning to lose count. Sorry, guys. So, I'm just going to address her points. I'll try to address her points one by one. First of all, I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below, so you can see the backstory to what she's talking about, what I said about Pearl Davis. Now, if you don't know Pearl Davis, she is a mess in one word. But in short, basically, she claims to be Catholic for one. A very bad one at that. But at the same time, she's basically a woman who hates women. She says the most awful things about women. Doesn't matter if you're a single woman, if you're a stay-at-home housewife, she's got something nasty to say about you. She denigrates women because she appeals to red pill manosphere guys. And she's always regurgitating their talking points, and she's very, very anti-woman. And you don't have to be a feminist to be pro-woman, but this girl, she is clearly misogynistic, and it's bizarre to see a woman who hates herself. Basically, she really hates, because almost everything that she hates about women, that she says women are this, women are that, you're this, you're that, or the other, is what is reflected in her, is what she is herself. And then to add insult to injury, she threw our Blessed Mother, the Virgin Mary, under the bus and said some not very nice things about her and about the church in general. So I wasn't going to stand back and let somebody diss my mama. Hello. So I did have a few choice words to say, not to her, but to the TCF community, because some people are actually not very smart or discerning enough, and they actually follow red pillars, or they listen to people like Pearl Davis. And I'm just trying to say, hey, watch out for this girl. If you're listening to her and you're buying into her crap, she's not a very nice person. She's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Just be careful. So, and then this video came on my YouTube timeline. It was basically the red pill community of men, because we couldn't understand. And I describe Pearl Davis as the unpickable pick-me, because she's a total pick-me. She's like, she wants this red pill men to pick her, this misogynistic men to pick her. She hates other women. She throws women under the bus. Pick me. She's got pick-me energy all over her, and yet she's still single. She's still not picked. She's not married. She's not engaged. She's not even in a relationship. Why is this unpickable pick-me never ever picked? And I think that question has been floating around like the digital internet space, because somebody finally decided to address the question and they made a video about it. And that was the video that I made a post about on my Facebook page. I shared that video and I said, well, the guys, the red pill guys and the men in general are basically talking about why Pearl Davis is not attractive to them. And a key word they mentioned was that she's masculine. And they couldn't have put it better. I mean, that's exactly what she is. She is very, very masculine. And I'm not just talking about her unfortunate appearance, because, you know, she's a woman. She's a single woman, but she doesn't take care of herself at all. Not very well. And taking care of yourself is not a sign of vanity. You have a body. You are given a body by God. Whatever body he placed you in, male or female, it is your duty to take care of that body. To eat properly as much as you can. To practice good grooming, hygiene, you know, and to dress in befitting manner that is suitable to your size, height, and shape. Right? She doesn't do any of these things. She is apparently in her late 20s, and even I don't look like that. And I've got 3 kids. She's apparently in her late 20s, and she looks like somebody who is, well, I don't know, early 40s. Awful. A lot of people say it's not just me trying to be mean or what have you. I was like shocked. Really? Late 20s? Anyway, so they said, these red pill guys, these misogynistic men, said this about this woman who is, you know, just fawning all over them and just wants them to pick her and just gagging for their attention. They said, we don't want her because she's masculine. Period, blank, end of story. And they were right. And they said she's masculine, not just in her appearance, but in her whole attitude. Her whole attitude is masculine. And they are absolutely right, because pick-me energy is desperate. Pick-me energy is forward. Pick-me energy is attention-seeking. It's saying, look at me. I can do this for you. I can cook for you. I'm the perfect woman. Pick me. Pick me. Pick me. Pick me, pick me, pick me. None of that is feminine. It's loud. It's aggressive. It's opinionated. It's not attractive. And any man, red pill or not, will be turned off. They don't want that. And most sane men anyway, want a counterpart to their masculinity. They want a feminine woman. And Pearl Davis is not feminine. Now, I also mentioned in my post that because this is something that the guys addressed, they said, well, she's also masculine because, she's making all this noise on social media. She's going on all these podcasts and having interviews with guys and talking about all this red pill talking points and blah blah blah. She's an online educator, but she's just masculine. And I thought about it. I was like, okay, there's nothing wrong with being an educator or having a ministry as a woman or what have you. Pearl Davis and I are doing the exact same thing. Different topics. We are opposite sides of the coin. She's red pill. I'm more, traditional Catholic femininity, right? So opposite sides. But we are doing the same thing essentially. We are both online educators and we are both opinionated. Even though I'm a feminine woman, I have a mind of my own and I can be a little bit sassy when I need to be, but there at that point, that's where the similarity between Pearl Davis and I ends, because even though we are both opinionated, and we're both very passionate about our message. She about her red pill nonsense, and me about traditional Catholic feminine lifestyle. Even though we're both passionate about our messages that we're trying to educate people on, she does it in a very aggressive way, and I don't. And here is the difference between she and I. She is very loud. She argues with people back and forth all day long on her social media. I mean, how exhausting is that? She engages constantly with people, attacking people, going after people, just in a horrible way. She also, apart from also viciously attacking women, her own kind, that automatically makes her masculine, because as a woman, it's a feminine thing to kind of stick up for your own gender, right? And she's basically just trying to say, hey, look, I'm one of you guys, pick me. Anybody who attacked any woman who attacked her own gender is a man, period, blank, end of story. She's masculine. You cannot be feminine as a woman and throw your own gender on the bus or say, well, I'm not like these other girls, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, then you're a man. And another thing Pearl does is she goes on this podcast. She goes on interviews and she talks and, just spews more of her nonsense. I don't do any of that. She's out there in your face. She's posting her pictures. She's giving interviews. She's having all these videos and what. And I don't do any of that. People barely even know what I look like. They know I am black. They know I'm, a mom, a wife. They know I live in the UK. And I keep my privacy that way because I did have my picture up in the first year or so of TCF, and then I saw how crazy people online were being, and I said, okay, well, I'm gonna spend. This is not about me. This is not about my family. This is not about me as a person trying to be some kind of celebrity star, blah blah blah. This is just about a message I need to share. I'm taking my pictures off, so I took my pictures off. Occasionally, now and again, if you're following me on my social media accounts, you will see sneak peek pictures of myself, maybe my family, the kids and what have you, but I don't actively promote or push myself into the public space, or my family into the public space like that. And I'm definitely not doing interviews like she does. I'm not doing podcasts. And I have almost every day I have somebody writing to me, I would like to collaborate with you. I want you to come on my show. I want to have a show where and I just say, I'm sorry, no, I can't do it. I have a family. I don't have the time. That is true. I really do not have the time. But I also know that if I accept one, then I'll have to accept another and another and another and another. And, That's not my goal. I don't care about being famous. I don't care about walking down the street and having people recognize me. Oh, we just want to give you freebies because we recognize. I don't care about any of that. I like my simple, quiet life with my family. And also, because people are crazy, I'm trying to keep myself and my family safe. So, no thank you. I don't do interviews. In fact, I'm almost like a camelite. If you go onto my website, you'll see a section where in the about section, just go to the top of the page and click about me or something like that. And in that about page, I talk about how I aspire to be a lay camelite. Even though, because before I got married, I wanted to be a nun, and I wanted to be a Carmelite nun. And the Carmelite charism lifestyle, they live a lifestyle very much away from the world, in private. Many of them live in cloisters, so they don't even interact with the public at all. And that sort of life truly, really appealed to me. But God had other plans for me, so He made me a wife and all of that jazz. But I still have that spirit within me. I'm still very much a private person. I still like my privacy. I still like to do things in my own little simple private way. And I still like to stay away from general public attention. So now you know that a brief background, a preamble of where this TCF reader's question is coming from. So now I'll try and address her question. She says she has a lot of issues with feminine energy because her family is past. That is perfectly normal. All of us were not born. None of us were born completely feminine from our mother's womb. Some of us, came from lifestyles where we had very, very conservative values, and we were taught these gender roles, and some of us had to learn along the way. And she said, you said feminine energy attracts, but how? It's magnetic. It's magnetic. When a true feminine energy will attract without even saying a word. Think about it. If a woman, a really beautiful woman, walked into the room, a lot of people, a really beautiful, tall, well put together, walks into the room, just walks across the room without even saying a word, just smiling gently and just walking across. A lot of people's head will turn to her, and they will be intrigued, and they will want to get to, who is she? And some of them will want to go up and talk to her, say hello. Now, assume it was another woman that walked to the room, all loud and shouting and screaming and just being loud and what have you. People were like, okay, yeah, she's got our attention. But then they will quickly go away from her. Do you see the difference? Now, let me use two famous women as an example. Let's use Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle. Catherine enters a room and people's heads just turn. She doesn't even have to say anything. She has this quiet dignity about her. That's feminine energy. Meghan Markle enters a room and she's loud, or she's rushing around to touch people, to hug people, to hold people's hands, to be all giggly, to pose for the cameras, and all of that. That's part of what repels a lot of people from her. She comes across as trying too hard, and that feels very, very insincere, and like pick me energy to a lot of people, and they're right. If you want to be a feminine woman and you want to attract people today, especially today in this social media world of everybody wanted to be an influencer and everybody want to be some social media star, it's so easy. All you have to do is to do the exact opposite. Everybody's loud, you be quiet. Everybody's making videos and all of this all the time. You don't do any of that, or you only do one every blue moon. People will begin to be, who is this mysterious person? I want to get to know her. Intrigue makes people drawn to you, makes them want to get to know you, makes them curious about you. But it's not just about being quiet or being reserved or being introverted or being private. It's also it's in your whole attitude, the way you dress, even the way you talk, even the tone of your voice. Maybe that's why I have lots of articles on grooming. I mean, it's everything from how you sound to the way you put yourself together, the way you dress, your hobbies, all of that fuels your fuel energy, and without saying a word, you will be attracting people. I am still attracting people even now, men and women, romantically and otherwise. I go on when I'm without the kids, I'm on the street and I get guys trying to chat me up, older than me, younger than me, trying to chat me up all the time. And it's not just a romantic thing as well. I get people wanted to get to know me. I have people sending me offers in my emails, wanted to collaborate with me. It's a lot. I'm talking like 10 a day, easy. So it is attracting a lot of people to me, and it's obviously attracting a lot of people to my ministry, TCF. So that is the way feminine energy attracts, when you are authentically feminine. And it's a whole lifestyle thing. The easy way to do it, I have lots of articles. Go to my playlist on femininity and womanhood on my YouTube channel, and you'll see videos there to help you cultivate femininity. Don't just watch the videos, actually start to practice the things that I mention in there, because I practice most of those things myself. And then go to my website, tradcatfem.com, and at the top of the page where it says blog, click on that. You'll see some categories, and click on the categories for femininity and womanhood or grooming, like obviously that has to do with like your appearance and things like that. And those will also help you develop a much more feminine appearance and personality, because those are the two things that help you cultivate a feminine spirit. And to make it super simple, just think of Our Lady. In every second of every day, whatever you're doing, think of Our Lady. If Mary were here today, would she wear this? Would she style her hair this way? Would she put on these false lashes? Would she agree to all those interviews and go on podcasts and what have you? Would she be loud? Would she be posting pictures of herself every day on social media, on Facebook? Would she, just put yourself in Our Lady's shoes. It's so easy to be feminine once you start to approach it from that mindset. You don't even need to watch my videos or read my articles. Simply just learn about Our Lady and try to model yourself after her, and you will see that energy is going to attract not just people, friends, and romantic partners into your life, but it would attract a lot of other good things, all the good stuff. Blessings and graces and everything, because you are living as a woman according to the way God made you. You are living in your feminine energy, and it's so easy to do. Despite, it doesn't matter what background you come from, you're an adult now. You can take care of yourself now. You can make your own choices now, and you can make your own choice to be different from however way you were raised by your family. So that's how you can attract people. Now, she says, I don't understand how a feminine woman can do apostolate. I think she means have some kind of apostolate ministry like I do, or maybe in any other capacity. If she cannot argue with men or have lengthy conversations with them. You said, I will engage to a point and then disengage. I don't see the difference with arguing and having lengthy conversations. There is a big difference, honey. There is a huge difference. Think of it this way. We have two doctors of the church, saints, female saints. We have Catherine of Sienna, and we have Saint Teresa of Lisieux. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name. We have two doctors of the church, saints, female saints. We have Catherine of Sienna, and we have Saint Teresa of Lisieux. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Catherine of Sienna was incredibly beautiful, but she was also very opinionated, and she would argue. I think she even chastised the Pope once, but she was still feminine because she had a limit. I don't know if it was her that said, it is my job to inform, not convince. Or maybe it was a female saint for sure. I think it was her, or it could be somebody else. But then you also think of Saint Teresa of Lisieux, and Saint Teresa is one of the patrons of TCF because she's my confirmation saint. She was very feminine too, and despite her young years and the short life she lived, she's also a doctor of the church, and we have a lot to learn from her. You don't have to argue. Why should you be arguing with anybody in the first place? I mean, don't you see that as a waste of energy, waste of time? You're just gonna annoy them and frustrate yourself. So I don't argue with anyone, ever. I wouldn't even argue with my kids or with my husband. I will state a point. Some people get energy from arguing. It's really a demonic spirit. It's a spirit of strife or contention. Why would you bring that into your life? Your job, you will never convert anyone, ever. Only God will convert. Your job is to be his loudspeaker, his microphone loudspeaker, and just inform people. If they ask you about it, you may try to elaborate a bit more. If you see that it's getting to a point where it's becoming an argument, circular conversations just going round and round and round, and they're just looking for a way to argue, just argue and argue and argue and argue, you disengage. That's simple. In fact, if you're a man or a woman, you should not be arguing constantly with people, because it invites negative demonic spirits into your life. You're not supposed to be doing that. In the Bible, there's a verse that says he has not given us a spirit of fear or confusion and what have you, but power and a sound mind. We're not supposed to be arguing. When you saw Jesus standing before Pontius Pilate, did you see him arguing? So why would you argue? And if you see a conversation is no longer getting productive, you are supposed to stop. This is the thing, modern day society, people have no sense anymore of what is acceptable and appropriate. She says, how can I have an apostolate or a ministry without arguing with them? It's very possible. I do it all the time. Jesus did it when he was standing before Pontius Pilate. He answered a few questions, and then when he saw that the questions were just trying to entrap him, snare him, mock him, they were basically not interested in what he had to say. They were just interested in trying to provoke him. He just stood there silent. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You stay silent or you disengage from them. Now, some of them, they will not like it when you stay silent because they want to fight. And as a Christian, you're not supposed to be fighting with people, right? So if they continue to provoke you and poke the bear, you shut the door and you disengage from there. You block them, you delete them, what have you. You cut off their access to you. In the Bible, there is a verse that says that when you go to a town or a group of people and you spread the message, you spread the gospel, and they are hard of hearing and they don't want to listen, or they are arguing with you, they are contentious, you are supposed to shake the dust off your foot, turn around, walk away, and never return to that town again. It's right there in the Bible. So you don't need to ask me these questions. There's a big difference between informing people and arguing with them. You can inform up to a point and then you stop because you have delivered the message. Nothing more, nothing further beyond that point needs to be said. You disengage. Any further contact will just result in an argument, and it will defeat the purpose of whatever it is you're trying to do. It means that now you're in an argument, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're upset, and the original message that you're trying to share with them is not sinking in at all. So you've just ruined everything. You need to learn how to practice temperance. Know when enough is enough and you stop. How can I have a ministry or apostolate if I can't argue with them? Do you see nuns arguing with people? They have their ministry. Do you see anybody with any ministry in the Catholic Church, whether it's singing, I don't know, whatever ministry they have, with a genuine ministry in the church? Do you see them constantly arguing with people again and again and again and again, and that's being productive? No, you don't, because you are not supposed to be arguing with them. You're not supposed to be having lengthy conversations. Deliver your message and leave it to God to work on their hearts. You arguing with them is you trying to force your own opinions onto them, and that is pride speaking, because you're trying to coerce them to your way of thinking through your own sheer will and your own brute force, and it doesn't work. Just deliver the message and that's it. It will remain in their minds, I promise you that. Because I've had people come to me say, oh, when you mentioned this a couple of 3 years ago, I was so upset, I was so angry, and I didn't like it because it just made me see myself in a different way. It made me had to reassess my life. But now, 2 years later, you were absolutely right. I'm really grateful for your message. So all you have to do is just deliver your message, deliver your ministry once, maybe twice, to, I don't know, reinforce it, and that's it. It will sink in their minds. Leave the rest to God to do, his thing. It's God's job to convert. It's your job just to inform. And sometimes after after we have delivered our message in our ministry, whatever that message is, and it's in the hearts of the person that is the recipient of it, and you go about your own merry way, they go about their own way, the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, and their guardian angel is continually churning that message in their mind, even without you being there. You may not even remember their name again or their face again, but they will remember what you said once. That is far more effective. And I promise you, a woman that doesn't argue is far more feminine. Pearl Davis is an arguer. She argues all day. I don't do any of that. Sometimes I want to be a bit sassy, and I might, give the person a stern rebuke, or I might try to explain a bit further, or I might, give a rebuttal. But you will not see me after about 2-3 exchanges back and forth. I would either just stop engaging with them, or if I see that they are continuing to be provocative and contentious and just pot staring, I just block them. I don't need that in my life, because at that point they are not there to learn. They are not there to, interact with me in any positive way. They're just there just to stir the pot and just cause trouble. And sadly, it seems some people are just so used to having negative, angry, argumentative energy around them all the time that they think a normal conversation is a conversation that involves arguments, and it doesn't. Again, ask yourself, when you find yourself starting to argue and belabor a point again and again and again with somebody who's pretending to be, oh God, I'm so stupid, I don't understand, but why? But ask yourself, what would Our Lady do? Will she continue to sit and argue? No, she wouldn't. And that's why she's our model of femininity. And now the third point she said is, finally, you said femininity is picky about what it allows into its space. Yes, I did. And I say it again. I don't know what to think about it, she says. I have many issues having girlfriends, and for me, a woman being picky is not charitable at all. It is charitable. Being picky and discerning is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to, if you're not picky or discerning, you just allow any riffraff into your life. You will just allow yourself to associate and with any person and do whatever they tell you. That's not charitable. That is stupidness. That's stupidity. Come on now. You're supposed to have boundaries and standards for yourself. You're supposed to protect your space, your femininity, and your energy and your state of grace. So are you telling me that if you have a group of friends, like, come on, let's go smoke together? Yeah, oh no, I can't say no because that's not charitable. No, let's go smoke, I don't know, hard drugs, or let's go rob a bank. There you go. Let's go rob a bank. Oh no, I can't tell them no because that would not be charitable. So I'm just gonna go rob a bank with them. Seriously? Are you gonna say that? Don't you see how stupid that sounds? The Bible even tells us, again back to the Bible, because TCF, we follow biblical teaching here. The Bible tells us we should not associate ourselves with unbelievers. Be not unequally yoked, and that includes in friendship too. You can have them as acquaintances that you interact with occasionally, but you do not bring them into your circle as a friend or as a potential partner. Because a feminine woman is a woman that protects what is precious, and that is her feminine energy. If you're a kind woman, she said, I don't know why I will reject you. A person can be kind and still be living a life that is an affront to God, or living a life that has elements that you don't like, that are not compatible with God, or that would be a scandal to you. So for example, a person can be kind, but they just think it's just peachy keen for a child to be a trans kid. Why would you allow such a person to be close to you and close to your family, potentially influencing you? Why would you do that? You can't be kind to them back, but you keep them at the level of, say, the kind of relationship you would have with, say, the guy at the post office. Cordial, friendly. You don't bring them into your personal space. Because if you are not picky, if you are not discerning, if you are not wise and choosy, like the Bible tells us to be, then anybody with dirty hands, muddy hands, oily hands, hands filled with poop can just come and wipe themselves on you. Is that what you want? Is that what you want to be? Be so charitable according to you? Charity does not lie in entertaining false ideas. A saint or a pope said that. I can't remember which. And they are absolutely right. You are not being charitable simply because somebody seems kind, but they live a life that is an affront to God, or a life that would be a scandal to you, a life that can be potentially that can influence your child or people in your family in a negative way, or they are a child molester, or I don't know, a pedophile or something. Oh, but they are clean now, or what have you. You're gonna allow them around your child? So a feminine woman is wise and she is discerning, but she's not stupid. She knows what she has. Because if a woman who is feminine and virtuous and has virtue was just allowing any riffraff allow her, do you think she would remain pure and chaste and feminine and soft for very long? No. Be not deceived. Bad company corrupts good manners. It says so in the Bible. So the Bible even tells us again and again and again and again and again to be careful of who we keep company with. So this video has gone on quite a long time. I'm gonna leave resources below. Some of my articles where that emphasize the points that I have been talking about, as well as Bible verses, and I suggest that you read them, you go through them, because everything I teach is based on Catholic tradition and biblical teaching, because that, combined with using the Blessed Virgin Mary, Our Lady, as our template, is what being a feminine, trad, Catholic woman is all about. It's not just about wearing pretty dresses and, oh, I'm just going to be a doormat and just lie over here and just accept anybody into my life and into my home and around me. It's not about that at all. That's what the modern society, modern world wants you to think is femininity. It's not. And that's why modern society is imploding on itself, especially this whole trad femme, trad wife, subset of society that we're seeing beginning to crumble. It's crumbling because the values that they are building the trad life, trad femme, trad wife mindset on is not biblical. It's not what the Bible says being a trad wife is all about. It is not what the Bible says being a trad woman or a traditional feminine woman is all about. So that's why it's like they're trying to bake a cake without any flour, without any eggs. It's crumbling. It's not a cake. They're trying to make an omelette with no eggs. If you want an authentic femininity that actually works, you go back to the source, to the origin, and that's the Bible. All the way back to Eve, because she was the first feminine woman. She kind of cocked it up a little bit, right? But Our Lady then came along and became our example for femininity and womanhood. Everything you need to know about femininity and everything that I teach about femininity goes all the way back to the Bible and by extension to the Catholic Church. And if it's not in the Catholic Church, it's in the Bible, because the Bible existed before the Catholic Church. We put the Bible together, but the saints, the apostles, Jesus, Mary, David, all of them, they all existed before the Catholic Church. So everything I teach about femininity and womanhood goes back to the origin, back to God's master plan for us as women and girls. And it is His plan that would make our attempts or desires to be more feminine and to be a feminine woman, a trad feminine woman, it's His template, His masterpiece, the plan He had for us. If we follow that plan, that is what would make it to be successful. That is what would make our feminine journey to be more productive, more effective in living our lives in whatever capacity we live in, whether as we are students, or we are wives, or we are courting or hoping to court, or maybe looking to get into religious life, or just choosing to be single, but single in the world, but also being able to live in this world successfully. And I'm not just talking materially success, I'm just talking successfully as in being happy, being whole, having many graces in your life, having blessings in your life, being unbothered, right? Just living a life of beauty and grace and all that good stuff. Whether or not you're married, it is possible. It is possible, as long as you are living according to the nature that God gave you. And if you are born female, as a woman, that life should be lived for you to be fulfilled. Because God didn't say, oh, you have to be married for you to be fulfilled. No. He made us male and female. So if He made you female, your number one purpose in this life is to live as a woman first, in your feminine energy as a woman. And then all other roles will come after that, whether that is to be a wife, a mom, a religious nun, a sister, or just to be single and to contribute to the world in a secular way. All of that will come after you fulfill your role properly as a woman, as the woman that he made you to be. So I hope that made some sense. I'm really sorry if I rambled on a little bit. It was quite a long video, wasn't it? And thank you so much if you are still here and you're still listening. If you have any questions, feel free to jot them down as I'm rambling on. And then you can send them to me. You can send them to my email, which is on the screen. And I hope this video helped answered your question, dear TCF reader. And if anybody else has a similar question, I hope it answered that as well. So have a wonderful weekend, and may God bless you all in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.